Good evening and welcome to the Massachusetts School of Barbering show. My name is Alan Conragan. I'm one of the directors here at the Massachusetts School of Barbering, located in wonderful downtown Quincy, Massachusetts. And today we're going to be doing a state exam video just to show you what you need to do on that day when you go for your license. Remember, no matter how good you are, no matter how accomplished you are, you're always going to be a little bit nervous because now someone's watching you and paying attention to what you're doing. And it can be nerve-wracking, but you know, if you practice this, if you study this video and do it yourself, then you'll be ready. You'll be ready on that day and you won't have any problems at all. So here we are today. We have our model. Model is Adam. Adam is one of the students here. But you cannot take a student to the state exam video. You can't take a student, another barber, or an instructor. You have to take someone else who's not in the business when you go for your test. Model selection is important. You need someone who's at least 16 years of age. They have to have at least 1 inch of hair in the top and a 1/4 inch of hair on the sides. And they have to have visible stubble. If they're not sure if the hair is long enough, they're going to take a ruler and they're going to put it right up against his head and pull that hair out and measure. All right, so if you're not sure, do this yourself, because if you don't do it, they're going to do it when you go take that state exam. If you need to, you can take 2 different models with you. You can take one model for the shave and a different model for the haircut. That's no problem. That's up to you. Okay, so model selection is tricky. It's sometimes hard finding someone with all the requirements. That's why we tell our students at the on the second day of school to start looking for a model now, right then, because if you do find your model, then you've got all that time to practice on. So let's get going. We're going to demonstrate the practical parts of the state exam cut. What they're looking for is, first of all, your appearance. You have to have dress slacks on, dress shoes. You have to have a shirt with a collar and a jacket. You cannot wear an apron. So they're going to check you on your appearance. They might even look at your fingernails, see how they are, if they're trimmed and clean. And also the tasks that they're going to want you to accomplish. First of all, they're going to want to check how you hone and strop the razor, which is sharpening a razor. They're going to have you do a haircut, shave your client around the ears using the straight edge razor, and also do a scalp massage and give him a shave. All right, so those are the different tasks that are required of you on this day. We have a sheet here. This is available to you online at pearsonview.com. I'll come this way. pearsonview.com is the testing company that gives the test for the barber board. The barber board themselves does not give the test, but Pearson Comp does. They have this sheet here that they use to grade you. There's 67 different things they're looking for, and next to each item are 2 boxes. One box says, yes, you did it. The other box says, no, you didn't do it. And of course, you want to have all these checked off, yes, if you can. All right, so this is the sheet that they use to grade you. And we give our students their final exam here, final practical exam. This is the same sheet that we use here. So there's this available to you. And you should also check out the candidate handbook, which is available to you as well, and goes through all the details of the state exam. One of the things in this book is all the equipment that you're supposed to bring, and basically you have to bring just about everything. The only thing you don't have to bring, they will have a strop there to demonstrate honing and stropping. They'll also have a traditional hone with a razor. And the only other thing they're going to provide is a disinfectant jar to put your solution in. As of January of 2018, you also have to bring your own solution, the concentrated solution, to mix and put inside this jar. So The hone, the strop, the razor, and this jar is all that the testing company will provide. You have to bring everything else, including paper towels, linen towels. You see here, we've got linen towels. You have to bring 2 of these bags here. One of the bags is for neck strips and hair clippings, and the other bag is for your linen towels. You also have to bring a first aid kit, and your own shaving cream. You have to bring just about everything you possibly could need to perform these tasks. So starting with the haircut, we're going to, first of all our tools have been disinfected. We've washed our hands, and we're going to set up the customer. So we're going to take our cape. We have a patriotic cape today. So we're going to take our cape, place it on him from the front like that, and then we're going to grab a neck strip, which has to be 5 inches or thicker. Okay, see, we're at least 5 inches here, but we've got to fold it in half. And we're going to place the neck strip on the client, and then fasten the cape. Is that too tight?
No.
That's good? All right. Okay, so we're just going to fold this down here a little bit. So now he's comfortably set up. If you notice, the purpose of the neck strip is to stop the cape from touching his skin, so it's sanitary. Now, my hands are already clean, but I've just handled the cape to place it on him, so now I have to disinfect my hands again. So I'm simply going to wash them, and make sure you bring your own soap, or hand disinfectant too, or both even if you'd like to. Okay, so my hands are washed, drying off my hands, and I'm going to place, this is going to be the bag for the hair and neck strips and stuff, so it goes right in there. Don't throw things on the floor. All right, so we're going to start with our clipper work. The requirements for the haircut. When you do the clipper, it's not how you normally cut hair, not how you normally do a regular tapered haircut. Normally when you do a cut like this, you would use some clipper work back here at the base of his neck, also some clipper work on the sides of his head, then do shear and comb here, and finger work here. But on this particular day, they do not want you to take this approach. They're going to limit you to your clipper work as to only go 1.5 inches, which usually is 2 fingers. Let's just check it out. That's just about right. 1.5 inches is 2 fingers, on my hand anyway. So 1.5 inches up from the hairline, just across the back, just across the nape of the neck. They do not want you to use your clippers on the side of his head. The reason they restrict you this way is because they want to see the 3 basic techniques of hair cutting demonstrated fairly equally. Your 3 techniques are using your clippers, using the shear and comb technique, and finger work technique. So because of that, they limit you to how much clipper work you can do. Now, if you can't find a model, or if you can only find a model who gets a fade haircut, they will let you make an exception, and they will let you use the clipper on the side of his head, but you have to blend that fade line out with the shear and comb technique, which can be very difficult. And if you give him a bald fade, it's impossible, basically. So if you are going to give your client a fade, then it has to be a conservative fade. So in other words, you wouldn't be going right down to the skin here in the fade area. But you're better off, if you can, you're better off to just make it a regular tapered haircut and not do a fade. I think it'll be easier for you. So when we do the haircut, we're going to start with our clipper work. And there's 2 kinds of clippers. There's motorized clippers, clippers that use a detachable blade. There's adjustable clippers that you can adjust the position of the blades. and there's attachments that they make that go on this clipper head. There's also a trimmer, which cuts the hair very, very close. But do yourself a favor, don't even bring this with you on the day of the state exam. In fact, I'm going to take this thing right now and I'm going to get rid of it because this is not allowed. All right, just leave it at home. Now, when you're doing your clipper work, you can use either clipper, it doesn't matter. But if you use a motorized clipper, you can only use the #1 blade or the 000 blade, which is also called the 3/0. You can use those two blades to put in your taper. If you use an adjustable clipper, you can use this clipper with the blades open, which leaves the hair in a longer position, or you can close the blades, which leaves the hair shorter. All right, but no attachments on this clipper when you're putting your taper in, and no blades on the motorized clipper other than the #1 and the 000. All right, so what I'm going to do for Adam here today is I'm going to do half of his head with one system and the other half with the other. All right, just to demonstrate how it works. It's not really that difficult or that different. So I'm going to grab one of my combs, and you want to get a tapering comb here. Which has been in the solution, and I'm just going to dry it off. And throw that away. So let's start, we'll do the left side of his head. We'll do the left side here with we're going to start with the #1 blade. And we'll put some glasses on so we can see. And again, we're just going to go 1.5 inches up with our clipper here from the hairline, holding the clipper flat against his neck and rocking out, gliding out very slowly as we go up. That's all we need right there. So you don't do a lot of clipper work, just a little bit. I'm going to dust this blade off and then put it down. Then I'm going to switch to my 000 blade. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I'm just going to stay with one clipper first and then use the other clipper over here. If I was just using this clipper on the whole thing, obviously I would use my #1 all the way across the back, and then switch to this. So now we're going to take the 3/0 blade and again come out. Only I'm just skimming out below where I went up with my #1 blade, so I have a nice taper in there. Notice I'm using 2 hands with the clipper. It's okay to use 2 hands. I feel like I have good control of the clipper when I use 2 hands. So there's my taper on that side of the head. All right. Again, I'm just going to dust this off. And put that back. Now, to demonstrate how we would do the taper with this clipper, an adjustable clipper, first I'm going to start with the blades open and go up my 1.5 inches. Again, starting in the middle. Working my way to the side. spin here. All right, then I'm going to close the blades and buff out the very base. Here we go. Okay, our taper is in. We're done with this tool. We don't need to use it again. What you should make sure you do as you're working, when I'm about to put this tool down, make sure you're done with it, because once I put it down, they don't like you picking things back up and going back to them. So just take a second, look at your work. I don't think I need any more clipper work to do here. I'm all set. I'm putting this down, and that's it for the day. Okay. All right, so our clipper work is all done. We're all set. Now we're going to go to our shear and comb work. I'm going to start in the middle of his head and go up here to the parietal ridge, and then work across, to one side and then back and over to the other, and all with our shear and comb. When you do your shear and comb work, first of all, your shears have to be at least 7 inches long. So don't bring a short, styling shear with you. And we're going to start here where we left off with our clipper work. And we're going to just go up. Again, it's hard to find a model. Adam here, he's been growing his hair out for a few weeks now. So we're not going to get a dramatic effect on him, bringing someone with a big, a lot of hair and taking it down. But we are giving you the idea of all the steps necessary for the state exam. So I'm here in the middle. That looks pretty good. You keep doing your shear and comb work up and down until you feel like you have a good blend. Now I'm going to work gradually to the side, to the right side. Again, beginning where I left off with the clippers. And continuing to work towards the right. And the whole key to cutting here is control. And when you take off just a little bit at a time, that's how you have control. If you take off a big chunk of hair all at once, then you could very easily go too short. So just a little bit at a time, gradually take it down. So we have from the center to the right completed. Now we're going to come back to the center and go to our left. Over here. One question a lot of people have is, how long do you have to do this practical part of the exam? You have 2.5 hours. And I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone running out of time to take the state exam. In fact, I know I've never heard of anyone running out of time. The other thing to understand is you're not supposed to talk to your model. I can talk to you today, but when you do it, you can't talk to anybody. You have to be quiet. So this is not the time to start telling your, talking to your model about all the latest funny stories that happens to, to you and your girlfriend or your wife or whatever. Just stay calm and do the job, and you'll be fine. All right, so we have our taper done here, pretty much all our shear and comb work here done in the back. Again, it's okay to go over it and adjust it if need be. It's just to remember, once you put a tool down, they don't like you picking it back up. So as long as I have the shear and comb, I can keep tweaking this. Another thing too, if during any of these tasks, if you forget something, they will let you say, oh, geez, I forgot to do something, and go back and do it. So in other words, let's say after I set him up, if I forgot to wash my hands afterwards, I could say, oh, I forgot to wash my hands. And then as long as I go back and wash my hands right away, then they will allow you to do that. So they allow you to do that once during each task. And again, the tasks are honing and stropping, the haircut, and then the shave. So just keep that in mind in case you forget, because it's normal to forget. So basically our shear and comb is all done back here. Now I'm going to start here where I left off on the back part of his head, and I'm going to work my way forward up the side of his head. So I pull the ear out of the way, get the comb in there, and just start tapering. Again, normally you would use a little clipper work on the side of his head, you know, in the shop or here at the school, but not today. You want to see that shear and comb work. So working my way forward. Be careful of the ear, of course. So remember, when you're doing this haircut, or when you do any haircut really, just about, you want the haircut to be balanced. In other words, if this is tight back here, you want it to be tight here on the side as well. So that's what they call the contour of the haircut. Does the haircut fit together? Do the sides of the head look like it belongs to the back of the head? So you want to keep that in mind on any of the clients really. So if this is fairly tight around here, so I want to try and match that going around the ear. Only this time I'm going to use my shear and comb to do it. So we're in pretty good shape. Almost done here, really. Just going to tighten it up a little bit more. And the other thing to remember is, normally when you're working in a shop, you're going to use the outliner or the trimmer to line him up around the ear. But on this day, we left it at home, so I have to use my razor to do that. But one thing to help you with your razor is to just kind of clean that line up a little bit using your shear. So I'm just going to just go right around the edge here with my shear to kind of clean this up a little bit. And we can come down this way too. Easy way to do it is to just take the shear and just rest it against the skin and cut as you go along the skin like that. And that's how you can clean that line up a little bit. And we'll do the same thing here in the front. Getting this as tight as we can. If you notice, this whole time I've been using the wide end of the comb. You can use the narrow end of the comb if you want to get in there a little tighter. We always recommend to use the wide end first though. So there, that's all set. I don't think we have to go back over that anymore. Now we will do the same thing, only on the right side of his head. So again, starting here where we left off with our shear and comb. Normally when you work, you want to work like right in front of where you're holding your hands, right in front of this area. You want to stand right in front of that area. Today I'm kind of sort of stretching my arms over and working just so, for demonstration purposes. But remember, when you're working, you want to stand right directly in front of that section. In other words, when I'm cutting here, I want to stand right here, right in front of it. It just gives you a better perspective on your work. Try and go this way here. Believe me, by doing this, it's going to make life a lot easier when I go in there with the razor. All right, so I'd say we've got a good taper here on the side too, on the right side as well. Just kind of going over it, making sure. Remember, one way to check your work is simply just to run the comb up. Just to run the comb up between all the sections. And if the hair's even across the comb as you go up, all your sections are even. If you see like a piece sticking out, then that means you missed that and you got to go over it. All right, so now we've done our shear and comb work on the back on both sides. Now we're going to do our finger work on the top of his head. And his hair is dry. You can either do this dry, you can even wet it a little bit to make it a little easier for you. In fact, that's what I'm going to do for him. You can bring a spray bottle with you, put water in it if you'd like. Make sure whatever you have in spray bottles though is clearly labeled. So if you bring a water bottle with you, make sure you simply write water on top of that, on the outside of that bottle, so they're aware of what's inside the bottle. So we just dampened this a little bit just to get better control of the hair. I'm going to start in the front of his head and do the finger work portion of the haircut. I comb the hair up, hold it firmly between my fingers, take the comb, place it over here, put my thumb into the shear, to the thumb grip, and cut. Then I pull my thumb out, grab the comb the hair back a little bit, and put the comb back, and cut to the previous section, the previous guide. And I'm cutting, started in the middle of his head, and I'm cutting, coming back to the crown area. And then I go back to the front and over a little bit. And I'm always cutting, I'm trying to cut parallel to the area that I'm pulling the hair from, parallel to the surface of his head. You can see Adam barely has enough hair for the requirement. It's a little over 1 inch here in the top. As I start coming down from the top of his head, working my way into the side area, I'm now starting to blend into where I left off with the shear and comb technique. Alright, so that's starting from the middle, working my way to the right. I'm going to go back to the middle and work my way to the left. Coming this way here. Here we go, a little tight over here. Alright, so the top is done. Let's get this crown a little better though. I'll just turn it this way. And I'm going to sweep across this crown area, blending this in to where I left off down here with my shear and comb. I don't think he's going to need too much, to tell you the truth. Looks like this is a little short before. Okay, that's pretty good. I can also sort of do a little bit of shear and comb here, just to kind of smooth that out a little bit. Okay, pretty good. Now I also can check the top. When I cut the top, I cut it coming back this way. Now I can do a cross section and take and start cutting the hair this way, just to check and make sure that I'm even. You always find a little something. It's also a way to adjust it too. If you feel like you didn't take enough off in the first sweep, you can always take a little bit more off in the second one. Not too much here, just a little bit though. Okay, we're good. Let me just dust your face off here. Okay. All right, we've now finished the top, cutting the top part of his head. I'm just going to trim his bangs a little bit. It doesn't need much, but. Just to get that cleaned up. Okay, so at this point of the haircut, before I put down my shear and comb, I'm going to do the last two things needed, which is his eyebrows and his ear hair. When I do his eyebrows, I'm going to do the shear over comb method, And you know, you might have a client or a model that does not need their eyebrows done. Just do it anyway, okay? Just go over here and do it so they see that you know what you're doing. And very simply, just put the comb there on the eyebrow. And while I'm over here too, I'm going to also do his ear. And they want you to do the ear here with the shear over finger method. So in other words, I'm using my finger to stabilize the shear points. And just get in here. Even if there's nothing to cut, just do it anyway. All right, so I'm going to spin him around and do his other eyebrow. And then I'm going to do his other ear. There, we're all done, all right, with the shear and comb. So now I'll take these tools and I'll just wipe them off and put them down. Not to be used again. And I remember you want to disinfect those though when you're done with the haircut. So at this point, we're now ready to do the shave around the ears and the scalp massage and then go into the shave, the face shave. So what I do next is put a little powder on here. Just a little bit, you don't need a lot. And we're going to loosen up the cape and dust them off. Make sure that you do not dust his clothes off with the neck duster. They're very particular about that. We'll take this neck strip, throw that away. They're very particular about that. A neck duster is for skin only, please, just for the skin. So we dust them off, and we're going to take the cape off, and the way that you should remove the cape is from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to grab the cape down here, come up here, grab the cape, let this down, shake it out, and then I'm going to put the cape back on him. Only it's going to be loose. Just like this. You just want to fasten, if it's a snap cape like this one is, just fasten it on its loosest setting. Or if it's Velcro, just fasten the Velcro on its loosest setting. So it's just kind of lying here like that. Then I'm going to take another neck strip. And we're going to tuck this neck strip into his collar like this. And the neck strip lies just like that on top of the cape. Then we're going to take a piece of paper towel and tuck it in right back here in the middle. Just like that. This is the setup for the shave around the ears. All right, it's all ready to go. Now, I just touched the cape, so I'm going to wash my hands again. They don't specifically call for it at this point, but they do say on that sheet there, on the grading sheet, that you wash your hands whenever they become contaminated. So I just touched this cape, my hands are contaminated, I'm going to wash it again. So you can break if you like. All right, I just washed my hands. I'm ready now to do the shave around the ears. What we're going to do is apply the lather first. And remember, you have to bring your own lather. Here at the school, of course, we have our own latherizer. You won't have this at the state exam. So just a can of shaving cream or gel or whatever you like to use is fine. I'm right-handed, I put the lather in my right hand, and I'm gonna use my thumb to scoop it out and apply it. Careful, you know, this lather's a little soupy. You don't wanna really get it up into his hair if you can help it. There's the right side. Actually, I'm gonna have to do that. And I'm gonna apply it here on the left as well. Get a little more. If you need more lather, just go get it. And this hair, the hair around the neck and the base of the neck and around the ear, the hair's pretty soft. You don't have to really work that lather in too much. That hair is pretty soft as it is. The beard hair is a different story. So I just rinse my hands off, and again, I'm going to dry them. Remember, when you're using a razor, you want your hands to be dry. And I'm going to grab my razor, which has been here being disinfected. All right. Whenever you walk around with the razor, make sure it's closed. And now we're going to do the shave around the ears. So I'm going to start with the right sideburn and work my way around. And then just remove the cream. And push the ear down with your thumb. And just kind of clean that up. When you go to wipe the razor off, always, here's the edge, here's the blade, always wipe with the blade going away from you, or in other words, like this. Away from the edge of the blade, I should say. And here, if this dries up on you, don't hesitate, go get some more lather. It's just okay. Right now, it's not bad. And when you're using the razor on the base of his neck here, don't go so high that you put a line in the haircut. There's no line in there. That's what we want. We don't want a line. All right, and again, I've wiped the blade off. And now I'm going to do the left side. So the left sideburn is going to be with a backhand. Everything's been freehand so far. All right, and then now it's going to be freehand here. And when you do this part right here, they want you to use what's called the reverse backhand stroke. So I'm going to flip to a backhand, I'm going to get the ear out of the way, and we'll just shave right down here. There. All right, so now we're done with the razor. I'm going to take the blade, and I'm going to, you can either dispose of the blade in a sharps container, or you can disinfect it. It's up to you, either one. What I'm going to do here is dispose of it. There we go. And I have a sharps container right here. Alright, so that's that. And then what we'll do is take this, dispose of this in our bag with all the neck strips. And then we're going to apply some astringent. So some barbers like to just take it and put it right in their hands when they do that. Me personally, I wouldn't want to do that because what if I nicked him a little bit and there's some blood there and I don't see it? You don't want to be exposed to anyone's blood, no matter who they are. So I would just like to take a paper towel or neck strip or something and just pour a little of the astringent on there, a little aftershave. And then just use that to clean them up. All right, all set. So that's a shave around the ears. Now what we're going to do is give them a scalp massage. Scalp massage has 6 steps. First step is to hold your hands here at the hairline with the fingertips pointing up, and you come up like that, and then glide down. So push up, glide back down. Do each movement a couple of times. They don't need to see you do it too many times, just to see that you know what you're doing. So that's number 1. Movement number 2, you hold your fingertips here at the hairline on the sides, and you're going to do rotary movements with your thumb, going up to the crown, glide back down. Go out a little bit, so you get a different section of the head, glide back down. Out over here. Okay, that's the second movement. The third movement, you're going to stand to the side of the customer, support the back of his head with your left hand. This is all if you're right-handed, of course. And then put your right hand here and then push. You push and then glide back. Push and then glide back. That's the third movement. Fourth movement, you're going to get back behind the customer again and put both hands up here in the top of his head with your fingertips close together. Then you're going to rotate those fingers and give a sharp upward twist like that. They call this the hairline movement in your textbook. I call it the rotary twist. Doesn't matter what you call it as long as you do it. But the whole idea is to get that scalp to move. Adam here is still relatively young. His scalp, you see his scalp is flexible, it moves. But as you get older, that scalp tightens up and doesn't move so easily. So that's the fourth movement. Last 2 movements are, again, you start at the base of his neck and using your fingertips. Now you're doing rotary movements with your fingertips from the base of his neck all the way forward. Glide back down, do that a couple of times. Notice too, whenever you switch from one movement to another, you always want to try and maintain contact. You don't want to try and remove your hands and then put them back. You want to maintain contact as you're going from one section to another. If you have to remove your hands, you feather them off and feather them back on again. But if you can maintain contact throughout the whole scalp massage, that's better. And finally, the 6th movement is you just come over here to the side of his head and have your hands in this position, fingertips parallel to the floor, and you just come up. All right? That's it. That's a scalp massage. So now, after this, we're going to take and just give his hair another comb because we messed his hair all up. All right, another comb. And then we might have loosened up a few hairs here, so we'll just dust them off a final time. Not dusting the cape off. Don't dust the cape off, please. At any time, whether you're here at school or at the state exam. And there we go. Now we're done. Now we're ready for the final part of the state exam, which is the face shave. So to do that, we remove this. We don't need this anymore. We're going to get a headrest. And the cape can be totally loose, it doesn't have to be snapped at all. And then for the headrest, we want to put a piece of paper towel on, or a linen towel, it's up to you. So that the headrest does not touch his scalp, doesn't come in contact with his skin. And let's recline him.
Yes.
Okay. Just lift up a little bit. Okay, try that now. Okay. All right, so we have the headrest covered with the paper towel. The cape's on him loose. Now we're going to take a linen towel. And you really should bring a good, about 10 towels or so with you, just to be safe. And we're going to place this towel here on his chest. Actually, though, before I do that, I want to put some paper towel here too. This paper towel is for our lather as we shave. So that's tucked in there. And then we get the linen towel again. And the linen towel, we're going to grab the opposite corners of the linen towel like this, so it creates a V at the bottom there, at that base. And we're going to use that V to tuck into his shirt. Like that. So he's all set up now for the face shave. We have protective covering on the headrest, paper towel for our shaving, and linen towel here tucked into his collar. Okay, he's all ready to go. Then what we're going to do is get some lather. It's going to take me a couple of trips here. This lather's kind of soupy. And it's hot too. The key to shaving is two things: preparation of the beard and stretching the skin. When you apply the lather, again, it's all on one hand. This hand should leave this dry if we can. When I apply the lather, I want to use rotary movements with my fingertips. That gets the beard here to soften and to stand up. If any lather drips into his mouth or whatever, just use the corner of the towel to clean him up. You don't want him eating lather. Again, just taking a couple of extra seconds or a minute really helps to get that beard ready to shave. There we go. Now we're going to give them a hot towel. The way to prepare a hot towel is fold it once lengthwise. These towels are this wide. Fold it once lengthwise, then 1, 2, third time around the faucet of the sink. Okay? And then once it's all hot and wet, we just grab these two corners and open it up. So let me give them a hot towel now, prepare this. All right, so I've got my towel nice and warm and hot, ready. I wring it out, okay, no need for any excess water in there. And come around behind them. Once I get behind them, then I'm gonna open it up. I wait till then because this thing cools down very quickly. So I open it up, give his forehead just a little bit of a tap, take the towel and place the fold under his nose. Pull one end up and the other end up. And just let it sit there, let it steam. Again, they lose their temperature very, very quickly. And then after it sits there for a few seconds, then I'm going to wipe this lather off. So I try and do it in one smooth motion if I can. Just wiping the lather off. And now I'm done with this towel. So I'm going to take this towel and I'm going to put it in the other bag. The bag specifically for towels. And that goes there. Then I'm going to re-lather his face. The procedure is towel, lather, shave. TLTLS. Here at the school we say, too lazy to look sharp. TLTLS. That's how you can remember it. Again, these are the little tricks that help you keep it together on exam day. Because you get nervous. You get nervous and you start to freeze up, you forget. This is a good movement here in the chin area. This really gets that hair soft. And the chin area can be a tough area. The chin area and the upper lip too. All right, that's good. So towel, lather, towel. Next step. Again, fold it once in half. 1, 2, third time around the faucet. Or in this case, we're going to just soak it like this. Come behind him, open it up, tap his forehead, fold goes under the nose, pull one end up and the other end up. Okay, wipe it off. Dispose of the towel. Oh, I gotta go around the other way. And now lather them again. So we spread it around, and again, notice every time I've lathered him, it's just been one hand. That's getting in here. You want to keep that out of his mouth. When your lather's a little soupy, you always have that problem. Okay, so he's ready to shave. Before I do so, I'm going to rinse and dry my hand. You want a dry hand to have control of that razor. And when you do your shave, they're going to want to see you properly do a 14 stroke shave. We have our razor. Remember, whenever you have your razor, whenever you walk around with it, have it closed. If someone asks you to hand it to them, hand them a closed razor. We have to hone and strop the razor too. We haven't done that yet. So we're going to open it up. I'm going to start number one with a freehand position. And if you're a right-handed barber, you should only stand behind him or here at his shoulder or here by his side in this quarter circle. If you're a left-handed barber, it's the opposite. Behind or the left side or left shoulder. Okay? For women, for ladies, they allow you to stand on either side of the customer, whatever is comfortable for you. All right, so number one is his right sideburn. I'm going to just take that lather just so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to stretch and shave with a freehand stroke. And then whenever you switch from one stroke to another, you should always wipe off the blade. Again, I wipe off the blade with the edge going away from, well, if I'm trying to figure out how to describe it to you. If I'm wiping it off this way, the edge is going away from me this way. Whatever you do, don't take and fold the towel over the blade and do this. That's how you cut all your fingers. You don't want to do that. So number one was a freehand. Now we're going to go to number two, which is from here to here, which is a backhand. And you're basically going to the corner of his mouth. Wipe off the blade. Now, number three is the right side of his mustache. And the easy way to stretch is just to push his nose up like this. And on all shaving charts, they show like the razor going this way, but it's really easier to get under that nose if you go with the blade parallel to his lips. Number three. Number 4 is below the jawbone down here to the base of his neck. Notice whenever I'm stretching, I'm always shaving away from my fingers. In other words, if I'm stretching here, I'm shaving this way. Stretching here, shaving that way. Stretching here, shaving this way. I never shave towards my fingers. All right, there's one exception, but basically that's the direction you go. Now to get the base of his neck here, number 5, I'm going to stand directly behind him, stretch down here, and shave up. Right there. Then, again, I'll wipe off the blade. Now I'm going to go to number 6. Number 6 is the left side of his mustache. And this is a backhand. Okay, and then number 7 is here, the left sideburn. Again, a backhand. And you can tell that this beard hair is coming off very nicely, for the most part. And that's because we had some decent preparation. So that was 6, 7, now we're going to 8, which is freehand going this way here. Nine is down here to the base of his neck. Again, this time it's a backhand, so I stretch here with my fingers. Okay. 10 is the base of his neck coming up. He doesn't have much beard hair down here. Just a few, really. Okay, just a little bit. Then number 11 is across the chin area. So I can feel he's kind of dried up a little bit. What I'm going to do is close my, well, actually I'm going to wipe my razor off. And then close it, and then go and get a little more lather. And just get this one more time. Usually the toughest part of the beard is this area here, the actual chin. And now we'll just get that last part, number 11. Now number 11, obviously the chin is curved. You know, we have a curved surface here. And of course the edge of the razor is straight, flat. So I'm going to like do the upper part of his chin really with like the front part of the blade. Then the middle part of his chin here with the middle section of the blade. And then this lower part of his chin here where it starts to curve towards the back of the blade. And this way I can get the whole area. And this is one time now when I can stretch like this and I can shave towards my fingers. First I'll just stretch this way, see how that goes. Now I'm going to get the middle part. And now a little more towards the heel of the blade here. Okay, pretty good. All right, that's number 11. Now, just so you know, if you're doing these areas and if you feel, after you complete an area, if you feel like you need to go back over it again, you can. But they don't like you, in other words, when you're doing the freehand right here on number 1, you're shaving this way, they don't want you to like come this way across it. They'd rather you stay going in the correct direction. Why they specify that, I don't really know, but that's what I've been told. Okay, so just a couple strokes left. Now we have number 11 here under his chin. And let me try and move him here so you can see. This area is the one, or this section is the one section where you can do either a freehand or a backhand. I like to do a freehand here on the right side, but over here, and this towards the left of him, of his face, I would rather switch to a backhand and use that to get the left side. 2 strokes left. Now we have shaving the very base of his neck, below the over the hyoid bone, the Adam's apple. And Adam doesn't have a real pronounced hyoid bone. Sometimes you get customers that are like that though. If you do get someone with a pronounced hyoid bone, you can just stretch the skin to the side and shave it, and then when you let go, it snaps back over the bone. He doesn't have a lot there. Finally, we have this area here, number 14, which is under his lower lip. And to do this, you're doing like a scooping motion right there under his lip. There, okay? That's the last stroke. All right, now we take, wipe off the razor, and I'm going to close it for a second. We dispose of this paper. In here, and again, you take this blade and either put it in a sharps box or disinfect it. I will just disinfect it for now, just to save time. And then at this point, I'm going to demonstrate what to do if I cut him. Okay, now if during the course of the shave you cut your client, what you should do is you should stop and you should put on a pair of gloves. Do not fool around. I mean, you're doing this on state exam day, but if you're in the shop, don't fool around. Put on a pair of gloves if there's a blood incident. All right, so we put on a pair of gloves, and then we're going to get a piece of cotton or Q-tip. And here I've got some hydrogen peroxide, and now obviously I have not cut him, but I'm here at the end of the shave. I'm going to demonstrate what I would do as if I did cut him. So I'm going to take some hydrogen peroxide and just pour a little bit on a piece of cotton. Come on. There we go. All right. And I'm going to just pick a spot in his face, an imaginary cut. Okay, there's the imaginary cut. All right. And then I take this supposedly bloody piece of cotton and I'm gonna put it in a biohazard bag. Now, you don't have to go buy biohazard bags, just get a 1 gallon size Ziploc type bag from the store, and just get a Sharpie and write biohazard on it. And you should do this with like 4 bags to be safe. So the bloody item is in here, and then I'm gonna take another piece of cotton or Q-tip, that's also acceptable, and I'm gonna get some styptic. Now styptic comes in 3 forms: liquid, powder, and pencil. It's illegal to have styptic pencil in your possession, but you can have powder or liquid. We find that the powder works the best. Just take a little bit of the powder, tap it onto a new piece of cotton or Q-tip, and then touch that to the cut area. All right, and now the cut has been treated. We then take this piece and this, again, imaginary bloody piece, put that in the same bag. We remove the gloves, put that in the bag, and then we seal it. And take this bag and put it in another bag. We double bag it. This is some clean cotton, we'll move that. We take this bag in here, put that in, and then do the same thing with this. Seal it up. We're all safe, protected, and then we can take and dispose of this. All right, we're all done with the shave. All we have to do now is give him a warm towel. Again, I take another towel and fold it correctly again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I just prepared another warm towel. The first time, at the beginning of the shave, you want that towel to be as hot as you can. At this point, warm is just fine. So I got a warm towel, open it up, tap his forehead, fold under the nose, fold one end up and the other. Again, notice that everything is covered on his face with the towel, comes all the way down here, except his nostrils, of course, so he can breathe. And then we just take and just wipe any extra latherings or lather or little shavings left over. Wipe that off. And dispose of this towel. And then we're going to give him a cool towel. Notice how we go through about 5-6 towels. So, and you use a new one each time. So now this time the water is cooler, obviously. That's why we call it a cool towel. Okay, wring that out. And tap, fold under the nose. Okay, very nice. All right, dispose of this towel. I'm going to move you this way here. There we go. All right, last 2 steps left. On the shave is astringent, which is aftershave, and powder. I can either use a paper towel or a linen towel to apply the astringent. I'll just do paper towel again. The astringent always goes first. So we just take and just pat his face with the astringent. Dispose of that. And then we're going to fan his face. We can grab this towel here and just take it once lengthwise like that and just use this to fan his face. This dries the astringent. Okay. All right, we're done with that. And then one more towel. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to create a towel mitt to apply the powder. All right, so we take it once lengthwise, fold it once lengthwise, fold it twice. There's different ways to do this. This is the way I like to do it. It's folded twice. I just like to take my fingers now, put them inside that fold, so all my fingertips are covered with the fabric. And then as I come up around, take my thumb out, and then around, and just get control of the towel with your thumb. Now I have a nice towel mitt. All right, and then we're going to take a little bit of powder. Not a whole lot. It's probably too much. Don't use too much powder in the shop. You use too much powder in the shop, you're breathing this stuff in your whole life. That's not good. Oops. See? Can happen to anyone. There we go. So you take the towel, you apply the talc with it, and you use this to kind of smooth it out so it doesn't have any white clumps. You're all set there. And then we're going to slowly guide him up. He's been kind of half asleep this whole time. So just say, okay, now we're going to sit up. Okay, he's sitting up. And then dispose of this. And then the very final thing we're doing is just give him a little mini scalp massage, just a few movements here, just to sort of wake him up a little bit, because he's like been half asleep. All right, and then finally we comb his hair. He's all set. And we remove the cape, of course, and then you have to disinfect your tools. All right, that's it, we're all done. Thank you. Good luck on your state exam. I hope you do well. Remember, the more you practice this while you're here in school, the easier it's going to be for you. So jump in right away. Don't be scared. Just do it and you'll be fine. Thank you. Okay, we have one more task to do, which is honing and stropping. Usually they would have you hone and strop at the beginning of the service before you do the haircut and shave. Sometimes though, if they're busy, they might have you do it at the end. They'll tell you what to do. So when it comes time to hone and strop, again, they will have a hone, a razor, and a strop there at the exam site, so you don't have to worry about bringing these things. So the first thing you're going to do is hone. Honing is how we sharpen a razor. And you just take the razor and open it up so that it forms a straight line. And you're going to grab it on the shank. This here is the shank of the razor. And this is what you're gripping, not the handle. You're gripping the shank. And you grip it in your fingers, and you want to get good at rolling it back and forth like this, just like you would roll a pencil back and forth in your hands. The hone, you hold the hone flat in the palm of your hand. You can have your pinky up a little bit and your thumb up a little bit so the hone doesn't move, back and forth. But of course you don't want to have them up like this, because then you slice yourself. We don't want to do that. So you have the hone here flat in the palm of your hand, and you place the razor onto the hone slightly tilted to the left, like at 11 o'clock position. And you want to maintain this angle as you go across the hone. You're going to go across the hone and pull the razor down a little bit, but keep it at that 11 o'clock position. So as I go across the hone, I pull the razor down, and then I push it up and roll it over on its back. Okay, this is the back of the blade. So cross and down, push it up, roll it over on its back, Now I'm in the 1 o'clock position. And again, as I go across, I pull it down, maintaining the same angle. So that's honing. This is how you sharpen a blade once it becomes dull. Of course, this is for traditional razors. A lot of barbers are under the impression that traditional razors are illegal. They are not illegal. You just have to sanitize them after you use them, just like any tool. So that's honing. After I hone the razor, now I'm going to strop it. A strop has two sides to it. Strop has a smooth leather side and a rough canvas side. The canvas side, I would strop it on this side first if I hadn't honed my razor in a while and I want to give my razor a quick little tune-up before a shave. But I just honed it just now, so I'm going to just skip to the smooth leather side. And this time you're going to go in the opposite direction. When I hone the razor, I went into the edge. When I strop it, I go away from the edge. So here's the edge. I place it flat on the strop and just, again, leave it flat on there and go away from the edge. I flip it over on its back and again go away from the edge. If you go into the edge, this is what happens. You cut the strop. We don't want to cut the strop. So just away from the edge, roll it over, and it's that simple. If you also notice, I'm holding the blade at an angle, so I'm stropping the entire edge at the same time. You can do it this way like this. Some barbers like to do it like this. It doesn't matter. I like to do it this way because it's simpler. All right? That's stropping. You're all set.